Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
Do you want an example of being both professional and unprofessional at the same time?
Nope.
All right, let's get into Reddit on
This
Reddit.
first one. Go.
Normally, we'll have a drink as we record, not an alcoholic drink, but just something to sip on. You have a tea right now. Often you do.
I got a tea.
That's a nice silent drink. For some reason, on the way home, I stopped and I got like a thick shake.
Oh, that's
And
bad move.
as the intro was playing, I went to have a sip, and then as soon as I put it to my lips, I'm like, "Oh, these are really noisy. I'm going to really quietly have to do it." So professional enough to acknowledge that, unprofessional enough to have done it.
Oh, okay. Is it professional to acknowledge it too, is it? I think the professional thing to do would be to not drink any this entire show.
Yeah, that's true. But like professional enough to be like, "Oh, be careful here. That will make noise." And be like, "I shouldn't drink this as we record."
Mm-hmm. Did I ever tell you that I
Say I'm
learned
professional.
a while ago?
Say I'm professional.
Unprofessional?
No, say I'm professional.
You're unprofessional.
No.
Sorry, what? Am I getting this right? Voice actors will often drink apple juice before recording because it's meant to make their lips smack less. And it's like, I don't know. It gives a smoother mouthfeel, I guess, or something. I don't know. As you talk, I just thought that was a really interesting, like weird thing that they do. Yeah. And shakes. Sometimes they do shakes.
Sometimes they're real professionals do shakes.
Yeah. If you listen real carefully to the voice acting in Baldur's Gate, occasionally there's a. Anyway, what's this? You're a demon or something?
I can do a real one. Hang on. We can't. It didn't even make noise.
It didn't even make the noise.
It to.
It didn't do anything.
Terrible shake.
Oh, well. All right, Cambo.
So that just made me realize I have free reign now. I can't get this shake to make noise.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You have to. We'll add it in post.
Yeah.
Okay. This first Reddit on Reddit, it was cross-posted to us by Is That a Bench?
Oh.
And they've asked, is that a bench? Really think about that, Cambo. What constitutes as a bench? Is anything you can sit on a bench? Well, no. Some things are chairs.
Yeah. Or stools. Stool is not a bench. A bench needs to be long, I think.
Yeah, but if I connected two chairs together, bench?
No, it needs to be more than two. 3, I think you're in bench territory.
What's 2 then?
Double chair.
Sorry, that's stupid of me. Obviously, 2 chairs stuck together is just double chair.
Yeah.
But 3 chairs stuck together is a bench.
What do you mean 3 chairs stuck together? That's a bench.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I still need to describe how we got there.
Yeah. It's
Anyway.
like, when does water become ice? When does 3 chairs become a bench? Is it the moment they're stuck together?
Wait, now I'm confused as to, is that a question people
I
ask?
don't know.
Because
I
I
was
think
trying to
there's a
think of-
distinct difference between ice and water.
Yeah, but like at some point it needs to be like kind of frozen, but not all the way frozen.
Yeah,
Is
but
that
then
still-
I would just say some parts
Is
of it
that-
are ice and some parts that are in water.
So if you have 2 chairs together, double chair,
Yeah.
and a third chair.
Yeah. Some parts are chair, some parts are
Some
bench.
parts-
Is that what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
No,
I don't know.
No, it's all bench, obviously. Anywho,
Every chair has the potential to be a bench
if it just believes in itself enough.
and gets a couple more chairs.
Yeah. How about this, though? We're talking length, okay? How about cake?
Well, actually,
Is that a bench? If you put enough cakes next to each other, does that become a bench? And now I know what you're thinking. You're like, no, stupid Nelson. How could that ever be? But then, have you seen that show, Is It Cake?
Yeah.
If they made a bench out of cake,
is that
then
a
a
bench?
cake is a bench.
Yeah. Also, like, there's different kinds of benches because I'm just realizing you've got like a kitchen bench, and that's not like a sitting.
Oh, you don't even have to. It's just a flat.
Is it just a long flat
surface? I guess so.
Because is there any other time apart from in a kitchen that you'd call something that you just rest things on a bench? Because normally it's like a ledge or a shelf.
Bench. Yeah, at the gym. You know, like you do the bench press.
Oh,
You
yeah.
lay down on a bench.
Yeah. That's still like supporting you, though.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not
With
looking
the
at it.
kitchen bench is just to, like for things to go on. You don't go on that.
Yeah. Don't know.
Right in.
Don't write in. Nobody write in about this bench conversation, okay? If we were better at podcast, we would cut this whole thing, but we're not. We're leaving it in. That's not even what we're talking about. All right, is that a bench? Cross-posted it to us, which was originally by the DM25, and it was in r/hypothetical situation. You can make a teleport portal once in your life. You can choose 2 places on Earth and be able to teleport between them whenever you like. Once you've set the 2 places, you can't move them again. For example, you could set the portals to be at your work and your home,
No.
but they won't be very useful once you leave that job. Or that home, presumably.
Yeah.
The portal is an invisible door that only you can see and interact with. You can take or push items through as long as they fit through the door. Where are you placing your 2 portals?
Nelson, I assume we're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, one in the toilet, one in the bedroom. So then I don't have to, I can pee from the bed into the toilet.
Though, I guess the thing is, yeah, you need to be able to get to the place where the portal goes.
Right. So you're thinking inside a bank vault. Or
Exactly.
something.
Like where...
But it'll only take 2 robberies before they're like, you know what? Don't put any money
if
in
they're
this.
big enough, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I only need to use it once. When they're like, oh, it stays there forever, that's fine.
Yeah. In what?
Because if I set it from this house to some kind of vault full of gold bullion or whatever I'm stealing,
Yeah.
I'm just going to do one huge heist of most of it.
Yeah.
Close the door, move from this house.
Yeah. I mean, presumably they've got cameras in it. And they're going to see you taking all the gold bullion through a magical door.
Think about this, Nelson.
Yeah.
Wear a mask.
Yeah, you've got them. I forgot that
we've
masks
seen
exist.
him. We can't tell you much else. He's rough hide, I guess we could probably estimate.
Yeah, rough. I'll wear some heels.
And wearing some lifts in my shoes.
Yeah, okay.
What I'll do, I'll wear shoes that are manufactured to look like they have lifts, but they don't. So they'll be looking for someone shorter than me.
That's pretty smart, actually.
Because they'll be like, clearly he's wearing lifts. We can see it clearly. So
Yeah.
if he's registering as 180, he must be 175.
Okay, yeah. I mean, depending where they sit, like, yeah.
And if they ever arrest me, I'll be like, measure me then.
Yeah.
Go on.
We're
and they're
pretty
like,
sure it's
he
you,
is
but
too
no,
tall.
Yeah, like,
Let him go.
it's the only evidence we've got.
We had all that other evidence, but it's all undone
We don't
by
have
the
his
height.
fingerprints. He forgot to wear gloves, but the height doesn't match. So, yeah, that'd be difficult. I mean, I suppose.
My problem
Is that worth it? Is that enough? I don't know. I haven't.
That's why I want to know what's the vault with the most.
Yeah.
Like I want like Scrooge McDuck's vault.
Yeah, that's true.
Or like
can you easily, like, obviously, gold bullion would be better than cash, right? Because cash can be traced to some degree.
Launder.
Yeah, but like, is there also? I don't really know how gold works.
Look, there probably is. I'd need a fence, Nelson. Someone that could set up this sale. Mm-hmm. What if you could teleport into one of the, like, you know how there's all those rumors that the old houses that Pablo Escobar used to own, there's still just like cash presumably hidden in some of them because he hid so much money that he doesn't he couldn't even remember where it all was.
Yeah. There's reports of like it got like rotting underground and stuff like that.
Yeah. Even when he was alive, apparently they were losing millions like a week just to rats.
Yeah,
They just eat their money. So what if you could find some like old storage vault that he used to have? Because that's Do you reckon that money is traced from back then?
You could probably get away with it. I don't know. It still feels like.
I've also heard that his house still has some booby traps in it that people don't know where they are.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, you send in like some ferrets or something through the door first. Wait for any explosions. Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like...
see, the door would negate all of the booby traps. You'd walk straight into the vault.
I know, but so you're saying there's none in the vault either?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying now.
You're like, oh, obviously, if you had a vault, you'd put everything on the outside. I'm smart, Camber. I'd put something right in the middle.
If you made it to the vault, you had a policy of, well, fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can you imagine, like, in Ocean's 11, they had to go through all that rigmarole inside the vault? If just inside it was just nothing.
Yeah.
It was like... They're like, oh,
not even
no laser floor. Once you're in there, free reign, no CCTV. They're like,
we're pretty confident you won't get in there. So
you have to go down that elevator shaft that
we've
learned there are no ropes long enough to get somebody right to the bottom.
To get in here, you'd need more than 10 people.
Yeah.
And I just don't see anyone pulling that off.
Yeah.
Good luck finding a little gymnast guy to do a flip onto the shelf from a box. Because that's what you need. Don't know why I'm saying this. I'm giving it away.
We had an analyst come in. They said that's the one weakness. And we were like, whatever. That's totally fine. Just like spikes on the walls or something, obviously, guys. Now, can you imagine how many right now vaults in the world have spikes on the walls? Because they were like, well, we need a just in case.
Just in case. In case
they can do a flip onto a wall.
Or a teleporting door.
Yeah, or a teleporting door. Yeah. I don't know, Camber. I still feel like this is a weak use for the portal.
Okay, what would you use it for? Are you just making your life more convenient in some way?
I mean, still considering richness as well. I think if you're doing doing it for like travel, I would, again, like placing it, like where do you start placing it? I feel like you just need to place it like in, let's say, Melbourne City for us somewhere. Yeah. You're the only one that can see it. You're the only one that can interact with it. Yep. Just like put it somewhere kind of random. But like if you move around, you might end up living different places. So you don't want to be like, well, I've got to go inside somebody's house to like access the door that I did a few years ago. So I feel like it just needs to be a public place. And then just with the other one, I feel like in Europe or somewhere, same sort of thing. Just in a big city, and then you can hop through and, fly around and whatnot.
Imagine if you pick like a random lane in Melbourne. And you're like, the door's down the end of this lane. There's not much traffic down here. It's pretty easy to access without being seen. Mm. And then like years later, they redevelop part of that. And they knock down the building and then they rebuild and it's just slightly wider. So your door is now in a wall.
Yeah.
Like just in the middle of a wall that you can't get to.
Yeah, that'd be so annoying. How do you future-proof yourself against industrialization? Or development. It needs to be on like some protected maybe ground.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. So, where in Melbourne do you feel safe is protected and like the Shrine of Remembrance?
Funny that you say that because they've been thinking about actually no, in Canberra they're thinking about redoing it, but still
I would have thought that was pretty safe.
Yeah, you'd think that you could just get that. Maybe like how about if it's just in the National Gallery or something? Oh, but then you're restricted by opening hours.
Yeah, you got to buy a ticket.
Yeah,
I put it in the exhibition for some reason.
Yeah. This is really annoying, actually. I never really considered. It feels like, because there's some places, right, that you go. I don't know if, you've experienced this where you were somewhere in your childhood frequently, and then maybe you hadn't been there for like 5 or 10 years, and you go back and you're like, holy shit, this place has changed so dramatically.
Yeah.
Where I used to go to school, there was like a shopping center there. It was the most basic shopping center. Anyway, just pretty small. Like it had a decent amount of shops, but it was just very basic. And now it's like this mega structure. Like it's huge. They've put so many more like levels and shops in, and it's all like the biggest brands now and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to find a place where
nothing's going to change.
Nothing's going to change. What if I put it on your back?
Yeah, I mean, as long as I'm alive, I guess.
I'll just keep your cops around.
Just in a cupboard.
Yeah. Like, Cambo,
So-
I want to go to France. Stay still.
Have I forgotten? Did you say where the other door then leads to?
Well, yeah, then that has to lead to. I mean, I said Europe in general, but again, you got the same problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could, like, if you wanted to protect yourself, future-proof yourself, sort of, you would need to go in with certain gear, but like Hiroshima somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Whack a door in the middle there, and then you're like at least in,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep. Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
Gotcha, yeah.
Anything like that where you're like, at least by the time I'm dead, like it probably won't all be fixed. Yeah. Yeah, something like that maybe. Or I do like the idea of putting it on the back of somebody else. What if I was just like, I just want to hang out with Hugh Jackman? So presumably I can just make this happen. One door entrance on your back.
So when he
the
says...
others on Hugh Jackman's. I just climb out of Hugh Jackman's back every now and again.
So, okay, yeah, so I'm your primary door. I'm your local, and he's your...
Yeah.
So if he's going off to film in, like, Morocco, you're
Yeah.
sounds good.
Sounds
I'll
good.
climb through the back
Let's
of
go,
Cambo.
Hugh. Yeah. And then come out Hugh Jackman.
Do you have to let him know you're coming? Because what if he's in the middle of a take and he's like, oh, hang on, this thing's happening.
Yeah. And what if it's really painful for him? He's like, ah! And then I flop out. It would be annoying if I wanted to get back home,
For
though.
some reason, I'm picturing, even though it's a door,
Yeah.
now that it's in a back, I'm picturing you flopping out like Ace Ventura from the back
Yeah,
of the, back of the, just like naked and oiled. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here, hi you.
Yeah, that's true. I think that'd be good. The problem would be if you like, obviously he wouldn't like this deal.
Yeah.
So imagine I'd be like, hey, I want to go back home here. And he's like, no, find your own way home. And I'm stuck in Morocco. Oh, no.
That's true.
The other thing I think you could do, set up, if you're wanting to make money,
Yeah.
set up both portals only like 10 meters apart on a stage somewhere
Well,
in the world.
I was
in Vegas.
I was about
Like,
to
here's my
say,
magic trick.
you could sell it to Hugh by being like, this is kind of like the magic trick from the Prestige.
Yeah.
And he'd say, no, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't have anyone crawling through anyone's backs.
Yeah. And I said, well, it's like that. Yeah.
But way grosser.
Way grosser. It's kind of
I
weird.
go in the back of one man and then I come out naked and oiled through the back of another.
Yeah. It's almost like
It's also not a trick,
being
that's
John
just what's
Malkovich
happening.
is kind of involved in it. It's a cross between being John Malkovich, Ace Ventura, and The Prestige. Yeah. You could do that magic out. And then you could just be like, you could be like Elvis, where you just don't leave the one place. You know, for your whole life. Because if they're like, let's take this on the road, you're like, can't do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If it's set at a stage at like the Caesar's Palace in Vegas,
Yeah.
and if they cancel your show, you're like, oh no.
Uh,
They're like, Nelson, there's only so many times people watch a man go in one door and out another.
yeah.
You've been
Like,
here
it's
for
really good,
You've been
but,
here for
like-
6 years. I think everyone that's
Yeah.
going to see it has seen it.
At least learn to juggle as well or something. Like, I just come on and say, it's a 5-minute
Yeah.
act.
We have like a residency ready to go for a big pop star.
Yeah.
So we will, and you're like, I can't explain, but you can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You actually can't take this away from me.
Yeah. It's all I've got.
I mean, you can, but I'll keep appearing through that door.
Well, not if the other door is only just at the other side of the stage.
Yeah, you need it at the back of the theater, I feel like.
Okay.
So you have one, you go through the door on the stage and then you appear at the back of the theater.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Then that way you buy a ticket to whoever's performing, go to the back of the theater, and then
Yeah.
just walk onto the stage.
Yeah. Hey, it's me again.
I'm doing that trick I do.
The doorman. I'm the doorman, guys. Anyway, what a stupid act that would be. You would
I
get
think that you've used this to become a tacky Las Vegas.
It really would. It would get so old so quick because either, like, yeah, nobody can work out how you do it. Wow, really fantastic. But it's just the one. You can't really do much
because
with
that,
it.
like, you do. Let's just say you go, "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen." Now watch me walk through this door and appear at the other side of the theater. You do that, and everyone claps.
Yeah.
Then he goes, "What's your second trick?"
Yeah.
And you go, "What?"
Yeah.
No, that's the show.
Yeah.
I'll go back through.
I think you could throw a ball through.
Yeah,
As something a bit different.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Maybe you get someone from the audience to be on the other side to catch the ball.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Oh, and you need something personable. So you get somebody up on stage and you're like, hey, give us like your wedding ring or something.
Yeah.
And then we like just drop that through the other
Yeah.
side and they're like, oh my God, it's the wedding ring.
How much would you charge if people wanted to go through the door?
Oh yeah, because I suppose it said you could like drag people through it. Oh, that's the moneymaker. Yeah.
They come for the show, but you're like, for $100, I'll let you go through.
Yeah, well, that's so cheap. Can be. I feel like you could get. I think you could get a lot more, especially if you pretend that it also rejuvenates the skin. Just throw that in there. No one can prove you otherwise.
Yeah, it's true.
When scientists are like, oh, I don't really know about this, and they're like, oh, but you know about magical doors, do you? Okay, give us your thesis, please, on magical doors.
Tell us how you think they work.
And tell me how I can actually have a magical door, but it doesn't regenerate your skin. Okay? Anyway. We've done it.
Yeah, that was really long.
That was long. All right, let's get into Ask Reddit.
Ask Reddit.
It's also because we spoke about benches for a
Yeah,
bit.
that's true. And it wasn't good.
It wasn't good either. No, it's just... Right in. No, I don't. All right. This Ask Reddit was cross-posted to us by Dumb Bitch 1998. It was actually in the subreddit No Stupid Questions. So questions are involved.
Yeah. Well, it's good that Dumb Bitch went there because if they're a dumb bitch, then you would think they'd be asking stupid questions.
Yeah.
But they're saying, no, not here.
There's no stupid
You're
questions.
welcome here.
Yeah. It was originally by Small Town Dreamspeak. Do non-American cultures have classic picky foods? E.g. in America and presumably Canada, picky eaters stereotypically eat fries, chicken nuggets, and other bar food. Is there a picky/childish food in other cultures as well?
So just the thing of like, in probably Canada, we don't know what happens up there.
Nobody knows what happens in Canada.
We don't know what the fuck's happening up there.
It's kind of in America.
They're being pretty mean to us at the moment, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Buying Canadian and such. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them are the same.
Yeah, I would say a lot is the same. Like, fries and chicken nuggets, pretty similar. I would say I just thought I would add the Australian parts to this because very similar.
Yes, yeah.
But we have sausage rolls.
Yep.
I think is a pretty classic one.
Yeah. English as well, I think, have sausage rolls.
And meat pies. I would say
Yep.
probably pretty similar on that front.
Yeah. Meat pies, there's two kinds of meat pie. You get like kind of a nice one from a country bakery, or you get ones that like the tradies eat for like breakfast from like a service station.
Yeah. That's true. Although you can actually get some pretty good ones. There was one I had.
I like both of them.
There's like it had like big chunks of steak in it, as opposed to like the gravy kind of meat that you're like, this is like 3% meat.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the other 97 is,
but yeah, like they're just pure pastry meat gravy.
Yeah,
it's like sugar because of the sauce you slather on it.
Yeah.
Like they are.
It's more of a dessert.
they're a dream picky eater meal.
I think, I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but it's kind of the, what would be considered a picky eater food is beige food.
Yes. I was just thinking
the
that.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to someone the other night who said that they are vegetarian and so is their partner, but their partner is also not
Oh my god.
a good eater.
Oh
So
my god.
Their diet is the beige diet.
How do you be, that is
You
so
must
crazy.
be so like congested.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Just so much batter and and starch and stuff in your diet.
So you'd think that the vegetarian, you'd get a lot of fiber, but if they're picky as well, that's crazy.
It's like there's a restaurant chain in Melbourne, presumably maybe more of Australia, I'm not sure, called Lord of the Fries.
Oh, yeah.
And they do burgers and hot dogs and stuff, except for their whole thing is that they're vegan.
Yeah.
And I've always
Which is
thought,
amazing, by the way. I want to say, sorry to interrupt your story, but I find this chain so fascinating because I would say they started way
ages ago.
before.
Like the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like late 90s.
Way before anybody was talking about like fake meat.
Yeah.
Really. And they do it so convincing.
Yeah.
Like it really is. The first time I had it, I had no idea that they were a vegan store.
Yeah.
And I just thought I was eating a normal burger.
My point is, I feel like that was one of the first things that I was aware of to be like, hey, you can be vegan and not healthy.
Yeah.
Just by the way.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be healthy. Look at
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Absolute horrendous.
Yeah, that's right. It is pretty funny how perhaps lifestyles can be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Like,
if you hear someone's a vegan, you immediately think they're healthy.
yeah.
But it's now possible to not. That not be true.
Yeah. I just thought it might be. I don't know. I haven't gone through these. It might be interesting to see what other cultures have. So the Phoenixer said in Mexico, picky eaters usually stick with quesadillas and a Coke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine that. Quesadilla seems pretty like kind of basic, just like cheese, meat, tortilla.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
easy.
I've seen one here that does, I think, ring true to Australia as well. At least one of these says, this is from Headless Worm. At restaurants in Japan, the kids' menu might have stuff like curry rice, hamburger, steak, or spaghetti. Spaghetti, especially
spaghetti's
for like
pretty,
picky eaters for kids.
like a bolognese.
Yeah, spaghetti bolognese, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, it's pretty beigey.
Yeah, a little bit of red for the sauce.
Yeah. I'm Polish. I actually do like this. I've just realized. This is by Everybody's Lost. I'm Polish, and our picky kid food is crepes with sweet cheese filling. Pierogies. I don't know what that is. I'm going to look that up. Pierogies with strawberries. Noodles with strawberries and sour cream with some sugar. That's insane.
That is insane.
Oh, is that what they're saying? Pierogies is noodles with strawberries. I don't know. I'm going to bing this.
Why you do that? Mega Coin Squad said, in Norway, just bread with cheese on top mainly.
Oh, yeah. It is good. Yeah.
I would
like
say
a ham cheese.
The difference, I guess, for us is we probably like toast it like a toasty.
Yeah.
You'd probably get a cheese toasty.
Yeah,
rather
gotta
than just bread
toast
with
it.
Cheese, yeah.
Yeah. A pierogi is like a dumpling.
Oh, yeah.
Thing. Actually, it looks delicious. I'd eat that. Oh, yeah, dumplings. Surely that's some countries like basic.
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
Okay. Thailand, quick and easy food when my sister and I were being difficult and my mum just wanted to shovel some food into us with some rice, scrambled egg, and something that is called pork floss, which is basically pork that has been cooked until it shreds and then continue cooking until the shreds turn into fluffy little bits, almost like cotton candy. I believe it is usually made with soy sauce and maybe some sugar drink and the initial cooking phase because it's sweet and salty. What? Oh, right.
In the initial, yeah.
Hanging out now in Asian-centered food groups as an adult, quite a number of other people are familiar with this and remember eating it as a child when the grown-ups were eating something the kids wouldn't. I still eat as comfort food or as a really quick, no-fuss meal. Yeah, that's interesting. See, I would also, not that I'm fussy either, but like a quick, no-hassle thing, I don't do it as much, but I feel like I have done just like rice and soy sauce and maybe like a tuna can.
Yeah.
Whacking a tuna can in there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is easy and filling.
There's one last one here I think is really interesting. This is from IIRC, if I remember correctly. I read that, is their username. Mm-hmm. IIRC read that. I remember seeing the behind the scenes reel for Inside Out. And they were talking about how they had to change the disgusting vegetables for different markets. Because in the US, the stereotypical gross vegetable that kids won't eat is broccoli. But in other countries, it might be something like peppers.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Somebody mentioned just below that what happened to Brussels sprouts being the stereotypical gross vegetable, which I agree. Actually, I love Brussels sprouts. But the reason why Brussels sprouts have the bad reputation is because at a certain point, like 80s, early 90s, people would just boil the shit out of them until they tasted like rubbish. And it's so funny to do that because it's actually, if you don't cook it that much, it's a really nice vegetable to eat. But yeah, I guess people started cooking them better.
Yeah, people weren't.
But even broccoli, I feel like I've never.
Yeah, steamed broccoli is pretty. Like, there's nothing to it. Like, it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But if you get like broccoli with some like oil and chili flakes and stuff like that, like, yeah, it becomes quite nice. But I understand that, like, as a kid, we would get like a side of steamed broccoli, and yeah, it was pretty boring.
Yeah.
But that's because, like, yeah, you can do more interesting stuff to it.
Yeah.
Like a Brussels sprout.
Anyway, that was interesting. Now let's move on into Today I Advice.
So now it's time for Today I Learned. What are these about?
Today I Learned.
And also sometimes advice.
This Today I Learned was cross-posted to us by Gone Fish Caking, but it was originally by Would Be Wanderer. Today I learned that Steven Seagal claimed that due to his Aikido training, he was immune to being choked unconscious. With Seagal's permission, his stuntman proceeded to choke him unconscious, with Seagal losing control of his mouth.
I love stories about Steven Seagal.
I love Steven Seagal.
If you
He's such a crazy man.
ever bored, there are just compilations that go for hours. And it's just people that have acted with Steven Seagal telling stories about Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
He denies this story, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember there's an interview with the guy who's like, "Oh no, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
You know, it happened."
Can you
He's
imagine?
like he didn't like explode everywhere.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
Like,
Yeah. It's funny that, like, I just can't imagine somebody sitting in a chair with such confidence telling everybody around them that they could not be choked out. Like, in what basis does he have for that? Like, as in somebody's tried to choke him out and he got out of it.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, I guess I'm immune to this.
Or that didn't even happen. His trainer was just like, "Oh, now you're at the level where you're all immune." He's like,
yeah.
"I must be."
Yeah. By the way, you owe me another $100,000. Yeah. So crazy. Okay. Well, do you have any other crazy Steven Seagal stories?
I read a book recently, which I think it was called Last Action Heroes, and it was about the late 80s, early 90s, the kind of like the rise and demise of like your Schwarzeneggers, Stallones, and then also went into Chuck Norris's, Steven Seagal's, and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
And the thing I found so interesting about Steven Seagal is because he is like at least he was a legit like martial artist.
Martial arts. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Like he had all the qualifications, but he just had a career based off him talking himself up. Honestly, like
Yeah.
the only reason he had a career is that he trained some people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And was like, "I am also a movie star." And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he did it long enough that they were like, I guess he is.
I guess so.
I guess he is. Yeah. Okay.
We'll give him this main part, I suppose.
Yeah.
It did seem like that there was an easier time, presumably in the 80s, to just be like, "Hey, I've got some moves.
Yeah.
Put me in a film." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's what the people want at the moment. It's like
Honestly,
if you-
that what is his career is they love kung fu.
It's like in the 70s, 60s, maybe. If you were a cowboy, you could get into any Western film.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, pretty funny. By the way, side topic, because you mentioned Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
His son is currently in White Lotus.
Yep.
I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I have a controversial opinion. This is way off topic now. I don't care. I don't care about nepotism in the acting world. Because I'm like, I feel like most of the time you get caught out if you're not good.
Well, yeah. It's one of those people only care about nepotism if they don't like the people.
Yeah.
Like Jack Quaid from The Boys plays Huey.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Nepo baby.
Yeah.
Son of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan.
Great actor.
People love him.
Yeah, he's good.
And one, I think that it's because he is obviously very talented and charming by himself. But two, he's also been like, it helped.
Yeah, of
and
course.
People are like,
Yeah.
okay, he knows, he knows.
But
Plus, he was in a sketch with Auntie Donna, so he seems like he's got a sense of humor.
I think the idea that because the whole point is we don't live in equality world.
Yeah.
Like, it is impossible to assess the acting ability of everybody in the world who wants to be an actor and say, so luck comes into it, and that luck can sometimes be who you're born to. And I feel like if you can back it up with the acting ability, then like it sort of doesn't matter. Your luck came from how you're born, but everybody had some sort of luck to get where they were, even if they weren't a nepo baby. Like, but it's different. I want to say this is the reason why it's different in the world for like CEOs and executives and stuff, because I think it's harder to be found out more quickly in those realms, and you can like tank a business, but then maybe blame somebody else while you're at it. You know, it's much harder than if you're just an actor and people watch you and they're like, oh, you're shit. Then, you know.
Here's an example of nepo babyism that isn't based on talent and was called out. There is a guy, old school Hollywood guy called Nelson Peltz.
Oh, cool guy, I've heard.
He made a play a couple years ago to force Disney's hand into adding their CEO and putting him in as CEO because he was on the board, and he was against all this woke stuff that they were doing, like all that kind of stuff. No. But he's like billionaire, been a producer for years, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, his daughter's an actress.
Oh.
And she was in one of the later Transformers movies as like the main love interest.
Yeah.
Wood in as a bench.
Oh no!
Since we're talking about
benches.
Yeah. And immediately everyone's like, I mean,
yeah.
Her dad is like a Hollywood mega producer, and she's like one of the first roles she ever got is like in a huge blockbuster movie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And she's not great.
Yeah. But see, like, hopefully that should mean. Although the problem is, you would hopefully mean that means she's not going to get any other gigs. But the problem is that if he's still such a big billionaire, that he'd be like, nah, put her in this. She was in Transformers, remember?
Yeah. And not even that. She'd just be like, put her in this.
Yeah.
They're like, you are funding the movie, so we will put her in this, actually, as it turns out.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
Yeah.
But do you reckon, I mean, the internet is cruel. All it needs is for her to read enough reviews. Surely, like you've got to have a certain amount of self-esteem, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But like, there are also a lot of people like to call it out now, but there are like generations before that are also nepo baby, like Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
His dad was a super famous actor.
Yeah.
But I don't think people necessarily thought he was only there because he was the son of Kirk Douglas from Spartacus, you know.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I think sometimes people call it out when it's like, I see what you're getting at, but I don't think it gave the advantage you think it did. So Chris Pine, the actor, his dad was on the TV show in the 70s, Chips, which was a cop show.
Yeah.
And before he said, it's like, I understand what you're getting at, but like people aren't like, get me the son of the guy from Chips.
Yeah.
You know, like,
is that like if I had a child and my child became famous and they're like, oh, well, his dad was an extra on Neighbours.
Yeah. It's like, he was kind of well known, but like not a legacy big enough that they're like, oh, well, we need to employ his son.
Yeah, that's right. Funny. Okay, anyway, we should move on into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought was cross-posted by Gone Fish Caking, but it was written by OK Letter 9284. Actually, I think it was in another subreddit, but I was like, this is more of a shower thought. Yeah. How many people's last words were, what are you going to do, shoot me? I would be that cocky.
Yeah.
I like to think that if I was in a situation where somebody had a gun at me, I would rather be a smartass about it than to die cowering. So I think I'd be one of those people, but I wouldn't be ashamed of that.
I would say, just in case they are going to shoot me, my last words would be, whoever shoots me is a loser.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Only losers shoot people. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Nobody wants to be a loser. Yeah. Or you say 7 years bad luck. That's also a good one. That often gets people.
Yeah.
Wait. You want 7 years bad luck? Oh, I don't think so, buddy. I'd put that down if I was you. But
Would you consider, if you could feel yourself passing away in a hospital bed, to make your last words something like this? So in like years to come, when people like look you up in their family lineage and whatever, they're like, oh, his last word, he must have died in some kind of epic way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. You can just say whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, no, take me instead or something.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yeah,
like, he must have sacrificed himself. How noble.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Why? I've just thought though. Why does anyone care about my last words? I could not think. It just made me think about my ancestors. I'm like, I'm not looking up what they say. What they said. It's useless.
Like your last words are probably help.
Yeah. Oh my God, so much pain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think is interesting on that topic slightly is, so a while ago, I want to say like when I was a teenager, I remember reading about, people always have regrets when they pass, like countless stories from like doctors and nurses where somebody's on the deathbed, they're like, I regret. And, number one is regret was like working too much, not spending time with family. And you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And then I learned probably, I don't know, not even that long ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, they're like, yeah, that they worked out that that's not true. And people have regrets in the moment, but there's been instances of people who think they're going to die, say these regrets, and then afterwards reflect on it and go, actually, I don't regret those things because I enjoyed working, or, like I needed to put food on the table for my family anyway. So while I was sad, like it's not a regret, it's something that, I had to do. And I just thought that was really funny that it's like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Do whatever you want your whole life.
This is going to sound maybe a little bit morbid, but I was so curious about this. There was, I think it was even in an Ask Reddit, saying, hey, people have technically died. What did you experience?
Yeah.
And one of the common things that everyone was saying, and I suppose it must be some kind of chemical reaction in your body, which is everyone said you get overcome with this sense of real calm.
Yeah.
And it must be your body coping with the fact that you're about to die that just releases like endorphins or something like that.
Yeah.
Where everyone's like, you are actually really, really happy.
There's an episode of House about this.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
guy electrocutes himself in front of House after being in an accident where he almost died. And then
'cause he wants to
House
feel it
is
again.
like, oh my God, should I do this? And then he does do it. And then he's
The end of the series.
he's like, and then he finds out that the guy died in hospital. So like, turns out shouldn't electrocute yourself after being in a serious car accident. And then House is like, oh shit, I tried to take this meaning from just an idiot who electrocuted himself. And then when he learns that the guy died, he says to the camera, only the audience knows Cambo.
He goes, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to look straight down this camera and address the audience.
And talk to
It's
myself.
me,
as
Hugh
if this
Laurie.
is
I'm not even
normal.
House.
He's
I'm
like,
dropping the accent.
I didn't feel anything. I don't know. It was meant to be like a depressing thing. Like, oh, you thought you'd find some cool experience from
But you
near
didn't.
death, but it was just nothing. Anyway, all right, let's move on to podnapping.
Oh my God, I'm being podnapped.
Podnapping.
This is podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic of conversation or a segment from another thing, and we do it ourselves.
My week this week. We have one here from, this is a request that we got sent through. I think it was meant to be an AMA, but don't worry about that. It is now podnapping.
It's a podnapping.
From CN.
Yep.
Said, and it was even titled, script for episode 445. And if our math is correct, that is this episode, I think.
But we can never be too sure.
We'll never be too sure. So anyway, there's actually technically 2 emails here. One has all the setup and then the other one has the content. But it says, slight preamble to say how I got this work. So this is, CN wrote in a couple weeks ago saying, hey, I wrote you an AI script like at the dawn of the AI chatbot kind of thing.
Yeah.
That made absolutely no sense. But now that it's improved so much, I want to try and redo it. In fact, we said just do it as soon as you can. So Sienna sent this through. So I fed the GPT 4.5 the script from episode 300, explaining that it was made by AI in its infancy. I asked it to create a script that was a sequel to that, in the same style and slightly meta. Finally, I asked it to shorten it. It was quite long. The results speak for themselves. So, previously on AI script,
Yeah.
I believe you were attacked out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a surprise attack.
And then I found a recording that
Yeah.
you had left me saying, you found this after the attack.
Yeah. I knew about the surprise attack.
Yeah. So that was the big twist. So anyway, this is a sequel now.
Yeah. It looks like it's just one scene. I said to you before this, and I feel like I should tell the listeners, I have not read this at all.
No, in fact, I only ever read the setup to it because I wanted to do a live read of the script. So this is a very short scene. So this might be the longest pod napping. Probably good because we're running pretty long. But this is a short scene written by ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Let's see how it's improved from last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Interior Cambo's house night. Nelson and Cambo are preparing episode 445. An uneasy silence hangs in the air after a tense beat. Cambo takes out a crumpled note and hands it over carefully. Nelson, I've been avoiding bringing this up, but you have to see this. Nelson unfolds it slowly, reading it aloud with dread.
You shouldn't have warned them. Episode 300 wasn't fiction.
Episode 300, Nelson, think clearly. You were bleeding on the bathroom floor, dying in my arms. It happened. It was real.
But that's impossible. Episode 301 was suddenly normal again, like it never happened. Like a badly written AI script that just reset itself.
Exactly. Over 100 episodes since just mundane filler. We haven't talked about it. Not because it was a joke, but because our minds forced us to pretend it was.
Then who sent the AI script in the first place? That thing we've been blaming this entire time.
A listener. CN. But Nelson. I don't think that's a name. It's initials. Nelson meets Cambo's gaze. Realization setting in.
C.N. Cambo. Nelson.
We sent it to ourselves. Invented a ridiculous AI story, burying reality deeper under the absurdity of to protect ourselves.
Protect ourselves from what?
From facing the truth we've hidden this whole time. That there's only ever been one host of this podcast. One of us died on that bathroom floor, Nelson. The other created all these meaningless filler episodes afterwards, too scared and alone to accept reality. Nelson and Cambo sit silently, staring in anguished disbelief at each other, neither knowing who's real. Fade out.
Okay, that was fucking great. That was the best.
And now the listeners won't know which of us is real.
No one knows who is real. Is it Cambo? Is it Nelson? Or is it neither?
Is it neither?
We are CN.
Oh.
I thought it was actually pretty smart that it
CN
came up
Cambo
with
Nelson.
that.
Very funny.
And because listeners don't probably know or remember, but CN, we said, has to spell their name S-E-E-E-N.
Yeah.
So it was like...
And real long-time listeners will know CN started as an initial that just means cool nickname.
yeah, that's right.
CN wrote in saying they wanted a cool nickname. We said the cool nickname is cool nickname. Abbreviated to CN, but not spelt in the way you think.
Yeah. Anyway, that was wild. That was actually really good. The idea that is pretty fascinating to think that it could come up with that sort of extra twist. And maybe CN sort of prompted that we hadn't. Oh, well, I suppose it's saying that we're up to episode 445.
Yeah.
And so it's reference as well. 300 was a while ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I just
the
find that really
idea that it knew that this show is meandering filler is very interesting.
That is just public knowledge on the internet. If you ask ChatGPT if Reddit on Reddit is filler, it says yes.
It's scraped the internet and it's learned that people are, the most common thing people say is, it's kind of meandering filler, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do like the existential note that it leaves on.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, even that is like a great, like, just ending to just kind of be like, they don't know, and it's all in their heads, but also not, is it? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for that, CN. If you'd like to write into us, you can do so. readitpodcast, readitpodcast @gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also reach us at our subreddit or the Discord. The link is in the show notes. I should say, I didn't realize this. And I swear it wasn't always like this. Maybe it's because we're getting more people cross-posting to our subreddit. But previously, I would just scroll to like the last one that post that I upvoted. That's how I know where I'm up to. And then I'd create the show notes from that. But I think we're having more people cross-post, which I love. It's great.
Less work for you.
We heard from Is That a Bench Today? And also Dumb Bitch, 1998. But it's got it sorts it by, best, the like filtering or the ordering is by best. So there's one here, or maybe it's even in the next episode, that was like 4 months ago cross-posted and I just didn't see it. So anyway.
So you're trying your best.
I'm trying my best. I might have missed some is kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
But yes, I was about that. Anyway, that's it. So thanks for listening and we will read you later.